Hello, friends. Welcome to VEDA Day 8. And I am out of town. I'm actually at my in-laws. This is my husband's bedroom. You can see all of his football stuff there. And I can't believe it's Day 8 already. um, Everything seems to fly by, of course, once you have kids, I feel like, for sure. Yeah. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about blanket time and the Duggars. I recently read a book called 20 and Counting. I'm going to look it up here on Amazon to show you what book I read. Here we go. There's the book. I don't have it with me, but that's just as good. 20 and Counting, the Duggars, How They Do It. It was really fun. Really, really fun read. It was one of those books that was like so entertaining and so easy to read that when you're halfway done, you were like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do next? Like, it was great. But don't get any ideas. The reason I read it was because I am having issues with organizational and time management just with the family. And when I searched, whenever I have like questions or concerns or I need motivation or whatever, I usually read a book on it, or I just do a lot of research online. And this time I wanted to read a book. And so when I looked this particular issue up in Amazon, this book was like the main result. So I ordered it and read it, and I love it. I'm going to make Joel read it too. But it's not because we want to have 20 kids or 19, however many kids they have, whatever. Although we do love kids, and we'd love to have a lot. I mean, more than 3 would be great. But I'll talk about that later. Let's see. So the things I want to talk about with this book are, Michelle and Jim Bob both wrote the book, but they included a lot of stories of answered prayer, which I thought was really cool. And it just gave me the idea to keep track of answered prayer in my own life, write it down, because when you're going through times where you're not as close to the Lord, it's great to look back on those times of answered prayer and just realize like how much God has done for you and how amazing He is. So I think that's really important, and I'm going to start doing that. And so I'm glad that they included all those stories of answered prayer in their book, and that was it's truly miraculous to see some of the ways that God worked in their lives. So just really cool. I loved that part. Actually, it was the whole book. It wasn't just a part. But second thing, there were a lot of like financial tips, which I have mixed reviews on this. I love how they don't want to finance anything, ever go into debt, even house debt. And it made me start looking at our own finances. We do have a mortgage, but that's the only debt we have. But we are talking about paying it off now, just really working towards that. We weren't really working towards it before, but now we're like, that's a lot of interest that we're just throwing away. So, like money going towards interest that we're just throwing away. So, we kind of want to do that now, which I think is good. But yeah, they just have a lot of like budget-friendly tips and stuff, which I am so oriented towards that in general. I'm very stingy. That's just how I am. And I've had to work really hard on being a giving person and a loving person in that way. So for me to read all the budget-friendly stuff was kind of, I guess, tempting. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but, I don't want to go back to being stingy. I'd like to be generous. But I know there's a difference between, obviously being generous on myself isn't smart. So, but anyway, I just think that being stingy with myself leads to me being stingy with others, and I don't think that that's how, as Christians, we should be. I don't think that's how Jesus was, and I think that we should be generous. So that was a little bit hard for me. I kind of just tried to not read those parts as much, but there were some, and also in the way of cooking and recipes and stuff, she had a lot of budget-friendly recipes, and they weren't healthy at all. I mean, I don't think they eat healthy, but I have kind of different standards, I guess. They just do a lot of white bread and white pasta and a lot of canned stuff, packaged stuff. But we used to do all that stuff too. So, they just did stuff that was really cheap, or they do stuff that's cheap and easy. I liked how it's easy. I'm a fan of that. But yeah, the lack of nutritious stuff, ingredients. I mean, obviously, when you have that many kids, you can't really put that big of an emphasis on nutrition because you would be bankrupt. So, those are kind of two things that I struggled with a tiny bit in the book. But there wasn't much I struggled with. It was pretty great. Closet system. They have like one big closet that's right next to the laundry room, and they keep all the clothes there. And then at nighttime, each child goes up or selects their outfit for the next day, or the older ones select the younger one's outfits too. Like they have a buddy system, and they select their own outfit and then the one for their buddy, their younger buddy. And so they bring them up to their room, and then in the morning they get changed. But so that way they don't have like crazy dresser situation where you are like carting all the clothes up and down the stairs all day long. I don't know. I just thought that was really smart. Like, that's really cool, especially when they're clean clothes, just to walk them to the laundry room, the closet room that's like right next door, and hang them up. I think that's cool. So, I don't know. If you have like 6 or 4 or more kids and you have an extra room near your laundry room, I mean, that's the problem. I don't think people design their houses that way, but if you're building a house, maybe you should consider it. I don't know, but I just thought that was really cool. And then the other thing I thought was cool was blanket time. Now, this concept has been introduced in one of the Ezo books. I think it's Toddler Wise. If you read Baby Wise, I think in Toddler Wise, the main point of the book is blanket time. Blanket time is training your toddler to sit and stay on a blanket and play with one toy and be quiet and not crawl around. And it's great. We did some of that when Joel was like 1, and then since then we kind of forgot about it, and we've used the video babysitter, we call it the video babysitter, to make them sit. And when they watch a video, I do not allow them to get up and walk around. Like the video, you have to sit and watch it, and that's the point of it. But if you don't have any other training for them sitting and being quiet, then you're going to be using the video and the TV too much, I think. I mean, I try to only use it in like emergency situations. So, like if I have to nurse the baby or put the baby down and it's not time for Judah to go to bed yet. So anyway, blanket time was reintroduced to me. And I was like, duh, I forgot about that. I should really train them to sit, play with one toy, and not get off the blanket. And that way I won't have to use the video as much, and it will be great, the video babysitter. So I think we're going to go back to training a little bit better with the blanket. And she didn't get into discipline and how she disciplines, although there's some of her references that makes me think that they do spank. But I don't want to comment too much on that because I'm not really sure, especially since the book did not comment on it. But there needs to be some type of consequence if the kid gets off the blanket. So I'm not really sure how she managed it. She said that her voice got sterner and sterner as the child got off the blanket. But, depending on your child, that may or may not work. So I don't know. Whatever you do for discipline, there needs to be a consequence when they get off the blanket. Put them back on, and then you gradually increase the time. And you praise them like crazy, of course, if they do a good job sitting there, even if it's for like 30 seconds at first. So I think we'll go back to doing a little bit more blanket time, and we're definitely doing some of it right now as Joel and I are doing more working out in the basement. Of course, they can watch the workout video, which is something to watch, but it's boring for kids, so a lot of times they are just playing with their toy. But they can last about 30 minutes before they start getting really antsy, and that's where we're at right now with blanket time, and I hope you enjoyed my video on blanket time and the Duggars. See you tomorrow.